Should we touch on Chloe Dygert?
You mean Chloe Dygert's desire and mission to become the most controversial part of the Rwanda world?
Which is really a difficult thing to do, as we're going to be discussing in the second segment today. So at the individual time trial last weekend, Chloe Dygert, who is an American racer racing for America at the World Championships, also races for Canyon SRAM Zonda Crypto, put some stickers on the fork legs of her bike that said, and I quote, "I stand for the truth. I stand with Charlie Kirk." Charlie Kirk, of course, the conservative activist influencer who was murdered in Utah on September 10th, has become very much a lightning rod. That incident, that death, has become very much a lightning rod within American political and cultural discourse. And as we put it in the headline of Abby's piece, what this did, it's got to be intentional, was re-inject Chloe Dygert into the sort of the center of the culture wars, right? You can argue back and forth whether this is a political statement. Charlie Kirk himself is not a politician, right? And so that's sort of like I don't know. That's a spectrum. It could sort of fall anywhere in there. I would personally struggle to see it as a non-political statement, given everything else that's going on. And the UCI does have rules about that. It has rules about political statements in when you are representing a UCI like a registered entity, which in this case would be like the United States, and then sort of more broadly, she's still riding Canyon SRAM equipment and helmet and all the rest. So so in theory, representing your licensed team. We reached out to the UCI for comment on this. No response. We reached out to USA Cycling on this. Declined the opportunity to comment. Reached out to Canyon SRAM on this. Also declined the opportunity to comment. I think the story we put up, first of all, proud of everybody once again. The comments are, some of them are pretty aggressive, but none sort of fully stepped over the line. And
that's kind of fun.
There's actually, as of checking this morning, none of them had been flagged for breaking our comment rules, which is sort of the first thing that we look at, is like, did any other commenters find these whatever the comment was offensive? And none, zero on the story, which is incredible.
Is it definitely working?
What the flag thing? I don't know. We should probably check. No, but there's been some interesting discussion in there. The discussion in the comment section that I've enjoyed the most, or sort of like was most thoughtful to me, was some of the discussion around like just free speech in general, right? And how, my personal politics don't align with Charlie Kirk. I think anybody who's listened to this podcast long enough will probably be aware of that. And so I don't really like that message, right? Like that doesn't sit all that well with me. However, sort of the other side of that coin would be like if a rider rolled, particularly like maybe like a men's Peloton rider, rolled down the start ramp with a giant pride flag down their fork, right? And it's sort of like how you define the sort of the free speech aspect of this, because free speech, when you're in a context like a professional sport, doesn't actually really exist. But we have to kind of decide as it doesn't, because the UCI can make rules around this, right? Like free speech it protects you from, in the United States anyway, protects you from government overreach, not private.
Yeah, when you're doing your job, when you're carrying out your job, you don't have free speech in the same sense either, because you are representing your company because you're getting paid to do so. Yeah.
So I just think
that I add something on the pride flag as an example.
Yeah.
I think I understand where the example is coming from, and it's been cited by a lot of people, but I think it's different in this instance, because putting a pride flag on a bike would be to say, I exist. In potentially much the same way as having your national flag next to your name on your bike. I believe, as somebody who might be, I don't know, compelled to do so. So I think that's a tricky area to step into.
Equate.
If it was to equate, because it's not a political stance to say I am part of the LGBTQIA plus community would be, but is not a political stance.
So the reason I picked that as an example is that, again, I think depending on your perspective here, like a Charlie Kirk sticker could be an equally political or apolitical stance, depending on your perspective,
agree that
right?
It's not potentially political, but as a in terms of free speech and a perspective, a point of view, it's a different situation.
There was a whole hullabaloo in Durango about this because there were some parents who wanted pride flags removed from classrooms because there are, the separation of church and state is a big deal, obviously, in the United States, or used to be, at least. And that basically the discussion it boiled down to your exact sort of question, Kit, which is a pride flag a political statement? So anyway, my point being is that there is debate there. There would also be similar debate over something like a Charlie Kirk sticker. And so I just think it's a really interesting discussion. And I think that more broadly, we have to kind of step back and be like, well, do we want, what do we want athletes to be able to push for? Like, do we want them to be able to do this? Or do we want them to be neutral? Because the UCI rules say, we want you to be neutral. We want you to just basically shut up and pedal. Right. And we on this podcast have frequently said that we don't really want athletes to shut up and pedal. Right.
Yeah.
And so now this is essentially an athlete not shutting up and pedaling from maybe the side that the three of us politically aren't aligned with. But, but it is what it is. I just think it's a really interesting sort of discussion, and I'm not sure that there is a right answer here. Basically, I certainly don't have an answer.
The timing has a lot to do with it, and we know that Chloe Dygert is already on the other side of the aisle, and maybe in certain circumstances you might say, yes, obviously you respect everybody's. I think Jimmy Kimmel put it brilliantly in his return to Late Night on Tuesday. That he thanked all his viewers and all his supporters for helping. Well, there was the massive boycott of Disney Plus and Hulu and ABC.
Yeah.
But then he also thanked all the people who didn't support him, but did support his right to kind of convey his own, to have his own, and to convey his own opinion. And so you've got to respect that, but also, the timing, the setting, the context, the fact that the women's peloton does have a, especially when you put it next to the men's peloton, it does have a much more, there are a lot of people in that peloton who Charlie Kirk would reject. And it's so I think, as you said at the start, Kaylee, it's a statement, it's a timed statement, it's got to be a conscious statement.
It's purposeful. You had to go. She had to go find a sticker maker.
She had to make a sticker. Well, you can see it's a sticker maker. It's like the font, right? It's that Arial type font that is on the sticker makers.
You probably went to the mechanic's truck and where they've got the
well,
or whatever.
I think that this is a line of inquiry that should be pursued further because it's stuck so straight and neatly along that fork. Did Chloe Dygert do it herself while listening to some rage bait podcast? Yeah, maybe. I struggle to come up with a reason of why, especially because it's hard to see if it contravenes the UCI rules and stuff, which are bollocks anyway, because it leaves them, it's like word soup where it's like you can kind of do whatever you want as long as we agree with it.
Yeah, it's useless regulation.
Or
the other way to look at it is very useful because you could basically define almost anything as contravening it. Yeah.
So I can't really. I think it's shocking, and not in a way that I'm shocked that she would do this, but it's just like the sort of brass neck, and makes me really think she's a piece of shit for believe what you want, fine, people judge you either way, but then to go out and use a sticker printer to put it on the fork of your time trial bike, I mean, what has the world come to? But especially a hero that's a debate me guy who goes around college campuses after graduating, at uni, that those people were bad enough, but then to do it afterwards to enrich yourself, but just I don't know, it's I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
got
will
it. Like
say
the thing is, in the peloton, there's I guarantee you, especially in the men's one, there's a whole host of them who are shockingly right wing. Shockingly to me because I don't have those views, but you would be surprised yourself because we kind of like to pretend that the peloton's this lovely, environmentally, environmentally conscious friends, all with the right politics. Not, I'm sorry, it's not. It's these minuscule killers who, are very self-involved. So yeah, it's it's a good story, but you kind of feel a bit icky, like writing it, being interested in it, talking about it.
I did address why we wrote it in the comments.
Yeah.
I think
Couple different reasons.
Yeah, and there was a lot of support for what you said as well.
Yeah, I mean the basics are there's a couple things that make something newsworthy. One of which is just how common it is, right? This is uncommon. It's extremely uncommon. In the same way that like the example I used in the comment that I put on the piece was like when Guarnieri came out in support of LGBT rights, that was sort of an unusual thing, and we wrote stories about it, right? And so this is on the opposite side of the aisle, but it's an unusual thing. We write stories about it. And the other bit of it is that, as we've just been talking about, like this wasn't an accident. The sticker did not show up there accidentally on the side of the bike. Like Abby made this point that it could have been a STEM sticker.
Yeah.
Right. If Chloe found personal inspiration from Charlie Kirk, she could put it on STEM where she'd look at it while she's riding. No, this is for the audience, right? And so it was for the purpose of getting photographed and getting on television and to put a statement out there. And so, this is an adult, Chloe. This is an adult with agency, right? Like she can make that decision, and then she can take whatever consequences come her way as a result, right? Because that is one of the things that the free speech discussion, while interesting sort of on a philosophical level, is largely irrelevant, and the discussion that is actually relevant is the consequences discussion. Because that's determined by the UCI, that's determined by her team, that's determined by USA Cycling,
Canyon, who I'm sure are absolutely over the moon about this whole thing.
I mean when and again, like Chloe has history with this sort of thing, right? It's happened before. She's retweeted horrible things. She's liked tweets and Instagram posts that say things that I personally find absolutely vile. And then she got in trouble for it. She had to release a statement saying she was going to try to grow. Rafa, for example, which was the sponsor of the team, came back and was like, that's not even enough. Like, we want more. It's not the first time, right? And so, I think her team has some decisions to make. I think she needs to sit there and sort of ask herself, like, what is this worth to me? Because while I'll support personally, this is just pure personal opinion. This isn't even like an Escape Collective opinion. This is my opinion. I would support her right to put that sticker on her fork, whether I agree with it or not. I also support the right of those who flew her there and are paying for it and are paying her salary to potentially do something about that. That's how this works. That's how the world works, right?
Yeah.
Maybe let's leave it there because that topic kind of scares me. If we keep going, and we will take a quick break, and we'll come back.
It's mad. It's fucking mad.
It's completely mad.
It is. It's awful.
It's like I'm not saying that I support the message. That's very clear.
No,
I'm saying that anyway, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, the light and airy topic of government suppression in Rwanda, allegedly.
This podcast used to be fun.
We'll be right back.